Hi y'all, I'm Melissa and welcome to Oh My Word, Melly. So I had planned this video for last weekend, but sadly I was stuck at work and I just couldn't even find a time to film this, and even if I did find a time to film this, I would have definitely not had the time to edit and upload this. But better late than never, here it is this week. Anywho, I as a 90s kid celebrated my birthday week before last, and I thought it's the perfect time to attempt the 90s kids book tag. Anywho, without further ado, let's get into this tag. Pokemon, a GBA game and trading card game where you battled pocket monsters and strive to catch them all. Back in the day, there were only 150 Pokemon. Guys, Pokemon is something I absolutely love. Even now, I would watch it no matter what. Like, that's, I think, the first anime that I have ever watched. I think it's categorized as anime. I suck. I don't know these categorizations, but I absolutely loved watching it. I haven't played it, but I know friends who have played it. We have bought cards and all that as well. And the prompt related to that is the author you need every book from. If y'all have been following me, I am pretty sure y'all know the answer to this prompt. The author who I want to own all the books from has not changed, and that is Cassandra Clare. I have like a shelf dedicated just for her books. Maybe I'll add a photo of my shelf, but I just absolutely loved her books and I really want to own it. I think I have most of, like, I think I have all her books, like all the series. I do have it. I know one of her new books are coming out towards summer this year, which is not in the Shadowhunter world, if I can remember correctly. Let's see, I still haven't decided if I'm getting it, because buying books in Sri Lanka has become a luxury that we cannot afford. AIM, AOL Instant Messaging. How 90s kids communicated with their friends after school before everyone had a cell phone. The prompt connected to this is a book that connected you with your best friend. The first instant messaging platform that I used back when I was like a kid was this Windows Live Messenger, or like MSN Messenger or something. That's something my sister, I don't know, taught me, and I used to communicate with her because she was out of the country. And then we got into Facebook like when I was in 8th grade, I guess. I know, really old. I know, guys, the more I talk, I might be making myself sound so old. I am. Yeah, this entire tag is to reflect on my birthday, so I am very old. The book that connected me with my best friend. My best friends don't read. Well, one of my best friends do. Jaden does read, but his genres and mine are not the same. So my bookish best friend, or like I have a lot of bookish best friends, and if I try to pick one, I'm not trying to put the other one down. So guys, no offense. So here I would like to pick Bella's book obsession because she and I bond on smart. Yeah, we bond on a lot of smart books, and the book that got us really close was Credence by Penelope Douglas, one of my most favorite books of, I think, 2021. I devoured the book in like 6 hours and I can't get enough of it, no matter how twisted and mind fudging it was. Furby, creepy, needy robots you could teach to talk and were probably demon possessed. A book that seemed like a good idea but was actually a monster. I kind of don't know what this Furby thing is, but when I looked it up, it looked really creepy, and thank heavens I didn't know about it when I was a kid. I would have had nightmares. Kind of don't know what this prompt is getting at. So I am going to say The Sword of Kaigan by M.L. Wong. Like, I got into this book because another bookish best friend of mine, Inosh, recommended it and he loved it, and I thought, okay, I'll give Asian inspired books because I love BIPOC books, right? So I wanted to get into this, and like it just left me broken. I wanted more. I was speechless at the end of the book. I loved it. I did not hate it. It was a monster because it just tugged on my heartstrings in ways I did not expect going into that high fantasy book. NSYNC, 90s quintessential boy band. You may have heard of Justin Timberlake. Oh, I have. I have. A book you hated to say bye 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 to. Oh my god, guys, I love NSYNC too. Like, I still like NSYNC. I like Justin Timberlake, or rather, like, I like their songs, and I am addicted to bye bye bye. A book you hated to say bye 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 to. Well, it's a duology, and that is The Labors of Gen Duology by Rachel Menard. If you still haven't watched my review on the duology, you can click up here to watch that. But guys, I loved this duology so much. I devoured it, and until the book came to an end, I did not know it was a duology and that it's going to end there. I wasn't ready to say bye. I wanted more of it. I still want to know more of how more events would unfold from this duology, and guys, it's a duology and it's over. Slimed. Getting green slime thrown on you courtesy of the show Figure It Out. Also apparently still a thing at the Kids' Choice Awards. A book everyone loved but you hated. Ah, we have spoken about this also before. Anywho, slime, like if y'all had Nickelodeon when y'all were growing up, the channel, like y'all would have seen this for sure. It looked fun on the show, but I wouldn't ever want to be slimed on or bathed in slime. And books that everyone loved but I hated. I know I'm supposed to give one book, but I have a few books. Let's start with The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. God, I know everyone has their own opinion and this is my opinion, so please do not come at me with pitchforks. I just could not stand that book. It was the most boring book ever, and by then I had never DNF'd a book and I wasn't going to, so I suffered through it. But God, I did not understand the plot. It was just happening and it was so boring. Next, The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. It started off so nice and then All Your Perfects by Colleen Hoover. Again, do not come at me with pitchforks. I just did not like it. I know Bella, my best bookish friend, loved it and she was so excited that I was reading it, and then she was so hurt that I hated it. If you want to know my review on that, you can click up here as well and see why I hated it. But like, hate is a strong word, and these books I really hated. Oh, and one of the most recent books I read, In 5 Years by Rebecca Serlich. God, it got an award or got nominated for an award, I guess, and like it was so hyped and I just did not like it. Just my opinions, guys, but like, ugh. Oregon Trail, 90s computer game you could usually play at school, which was great. It taught us people used to die a lot of gruesome, messy deaths. A book that made you wish you died of dysentery or dysentery, whatever that is. No, we did not get to play games at my school. The only game we played at school was when Internet Explorer died, or like, when the internet connection got disrupted, you have that Google game where you have the little dinosaur hopping over cacti and all that. So that's the only game we played at school. But I haven't played this game. Sounds gruesome if it's about people dying. Anywho, dysentery or dysentery, whatever it is, it's an infectious disease in the intestines that make you throw up blood and all that. And I do not wish to die of that or anyone else to die of that. But what I understood from this is a book that you hated to a point where you wanted to die or kill the book. And that is Life and Death, Twilight Reimagined by Stephanie Meyer. Gosh, she did this for the 10th anniversary of Twilight, and like this entire reimagined version where instead of Bella being the human who turns into a vampire, they have Bo. God, that book did not or does not need to exist. I have a huge rant video on that book. Again, click here to watch that, but guys, I do not even know why she wrote it. Like, mixtape or CD. Back before everyone had music on their phones, remember we didn't have cell phones. Folks would rip their CDs and make mixes for each other. 3 books you recommend to anyone, anywhere, no matter what. I know I did not have a phone, but I got this small MP3 player like when I was 16. But before then, we used to like download songs onto the computer and listen to them, share it on CDs with friends. I know I have done that, and like my computer memory has like just been so packed or like reached full capacity because of the amount of songs we downloaded. Those were the days, man. Those were the days. Anywho, 3 books that I would recommend no matter what. I kind of have 4 because I can't pick. So definitely Infernal Devices by Cassandra Clare. If y'all have been following me for all these years, y'all know my special connection with that. Then It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. Just chef's kiss. Just amazing. Then Pink and Country by Emmanuel Snow, because I will not stop recommending Emmanuel Snow's books. And finally, I Heart series by Lindsay Kelp, because it's one of those amazing YA books to get into if you want to start YA and romance and all that. And it's about turning a new leaf in life and like starting from the ground up. So those are the 4 books I would always recommend no matter what. Dial-up internet. You know how it's annoying when you aren't on LTE? Imagine waiting 10 minutes for the internet to start and another 20 minutes for Google to load. A book that took forever or like for freaking ever to read. Gosh, I used to have dial-up. Like that's the first time I got internet, and it was a dial-up connection. And good lord, I used to put it on or like start it and then go about, do my work, drink water, have a bath, all that. And then when I come, it's still starting. And then when you want to open something, you have to click it and wait for it. And now we can't even wait 2 seconds for something to load, and we think it's taking long. Those days are better in the past. I just do not want to go back to that age. For me it was like Stone Age. Recently I read this book, or a duology again, which was famed to be fast paced, and that is The Daughter of the Pirate King and The Daughter of the Siren Queen duology. Guys, I was really struggling with those 2 books to a point where they have put me into a reading slump, which I am still in, by the way, as an update. So those 2 took like a freaking long time for me to finish reading. Kenan Thompson. He's that guy who's been on SNL forever. Almighty Ducks, Good Burger, Keenan and Kel, and all that everything. That book you see referenced everywhere and is everything, but that's okay because it's awesome. So again, I think on Nickelodeon, this Kenan Thompson did come on, I think it was Keenan and Kel, if I recall. Like, I didn't watch it that much because back in the day I wasn't into comedy that much either. So a book that I see being recommended across everything and by most everyone, and I see everywhere, is 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And guys, first I thought it was overhyped, but I read it this year. I think in March. Yeah, I did read it in March. You can check out my March TBR. Absolutely understand why the hype, and it totally deserves it. So it's okay to be slapped on everyone's faces. Read this. Thumbs up 7 Up A game where most of the class closed their eyes and 7 people tapped someone's thumb and you had to guess who did it without peeking. Book where you peeked just real quick at the ending because you don't like guessing games. So I haven't played this game when I was a kid. I know. I was too studious. I have never checked the ending of a book. Unless I have already watched the movie and then read the book, which doesn't count. I have not turned to the last page to see how it ends, even in a chapter, so I have no answer for this prompt. Dunkaroos. These were basically just Teddy Grahams dipped in frosting, which is still a wonderful snack idea. Your ideal bookish snack. Really? There was a thing? So in Sri Lanka, we used to eat chocolate biscuits with like a chocolate frosting between two chocolate biscuits, or like custard biscuits, lemon puffs. I'll just leave images of it somewhere here. But I did not know there was a thing like that. Even now, I do make cookies like dipped in frosting or with a little bit of jam and all that. I do make it at home, which we love. But when I'm reading something, I am not someone who would want to snack on or eat. One is I don't want to get crumbs and all the spoils on the books, but I would sip on a juice or a coffee or something depending on where I am, but I usually just like to enjoy reading and not do things while I'm reading, which includes eating and drinking as well. Scary stories to tell in the dark. Collection of short stories that would scare any sensible kid, plus there were illustrations. A book that kept you up all night. Oh my word. I had friends at school who would have some scary story and they would definitely like to relate it to me or like tell it to me, because I scare easy and I'm not someone who watches horror, reads horror. Like, I do not like that because I will stay up all night. Gosh, when I started watching Vampire Diaries, which I completely watched at the end, but when I started watching that, or even Supernatural, like I freaked the hell out in uh, season 1 of both those series, and I like had to keep a light on and sleep after that, and all that shenanigans because I was that scared. I know it's embarrassing. Books that really kept me up all night. I don't read horror, so I will turn this prompt into something that I love the book so much that I couldn't put it down. The House of Salt and Sorrows by, who was it? Erin A. Craig. God, I loved that book. That did have me spooked a bit, but I loved it so much that I stayed up all night reading it. And I can't wait for book 2. I think it's The House of Ruth and Ruins, I think, coming out very soon. So I'm so excited, but that's a book I stayed up reading. And I would recommend it to any and everyone. And there were other books that I just stayed up reading, which I'm not going to mention because I don't want this video to be lengthy. Bill Nye, the science guy. Basically, the coolest thing you got to do in science class was watch Bill Nye. He has a Netflix show again. A book that taught you something new. Gosh, I wish our schools allowed us to watch at least Bill Nye, but sadly, no. And I do not have a specific book for this prompt because every book I read, I do learn something new, like about life or things that I did not know, words that I did not know. So reading is like such an adventure because you would not know what you would learn from each book. So guys, those were all the prompts from the 90s Kid Book Tag. And gosh, reflecting about being a 90s kid and celebrating my birthday, thinking how old I am and like all these past memories. Wow. I just can't believe how soon time flies. And I'm so stoked that I got to celebrate at least my birthday month with you guys. And if y'all did enjoy this video and my answers for each of the prompts, don't forget to give it a thumbs up as well as share this video with friends and family. Also, if you want to see more of me and my videos, don't forget to subscribe to my channel as well as click on the little bell icon so that you get notified every time I post new videos. With that, it's time for me to wrap up this video, and with the promises of more bookish fun in the coming weeks as well, it's time for me to say bye from Oh My Word, Melly.